Evidence when he started giving antidotes.
Yeah.
He's blistered.
It is now 7 o'clock. We will begin the meeting for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen, May 8, 2014. We do have a quorum. The prayer tonight will be by Alderman Waldron, and pledge will be by Alderman Broker.
We pray tonight in your name of your Son Jesus, your grace and many blessings, we thank you. We thank you for the freedom that we all enjoy. Let us pray for our fine, brave men and women that serve in our country well. Our prayers and thoughts goes out to the people that has suffered loss across this great land. Guide and give us strength in these difficult times. We pray to keep us all safe. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next, I need a motion to approve the minutes for the April 1st, 2014 regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Department reports. Fire Department.
Mayor, Alderman, for the month of April 2014, we had a total of 165 calls. It consisted of 1 vehicle fire, 14 fire alarms, 4 hazmat calls, 27 MVAs, 93 medical calls, 7 emergency miscellaneous calls, and 19 non-emergency miscellaneous calls. Average response time was 3.3 minutes, and the total water consumption for the month of April 2014 was 1,700 gallons. Any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, Chief. Police Department.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. We have the same issue still, but I have some good news. We've been working very hard with a whole lot of parts and pieces for our CAD and RMS project, and last week they did the fire records management, and they're getting ready to really crank up. And I'll give you a few dates to think about, because we got some things coming that are planned. Our CAD end user training is scheduled for June the 9th to the 13th. Our CAD go live support for the day shift right now, good Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise and New World gets everything going, June 16th through the 20th will be our go live support here for day shift, and the 16th through the 20th of June for the go live support for night shift and midnight shift. Our switch should be flipped on, hopefully, actually on the 16th, and then they'll be here supporting all of our dispatchers while they're right there working, and we'll have a specialist that'll be there in the room with them constantly. So we're getting closer, finally getting closer. Our LERMs, our law enforcement records management, go live support, and go live is June the 16th. And that means everything we do on the records side. Now that's in-house, that's not the mobile side yet, that's on down in July. But the fire records management, go live and go live support is also June the 16th. So we're gonna have a whole lot of stuff hitting at one time that week. But as of right now, everything's looking good, and I think Chief Lowry will probably tell you it looks like we're on schedule for that, barring any unforeseen things that we have right now. Our mobile go live is set now for end user training, July the 21st through August the 1st for law enforcement and for fire. And the mobile go live support will be August the 4th through the 8th. That means they'll be here, and we'll actually should be using the mobile side of it by then as well. So we got a lot of good things coming. TBI released their Crime in Tennessee report yesterday. I got into it today. We have issues with it because of our conics. There were duplications we know were there. Our folks, I told you last month, keyed 647 2013 reports. So we know that our conics is out there still, and we've got what we keyed on the TBI web-based data entry side, and we've got duplicates out there. So the numbers that are actually published are not correct, and I don't know that they ever will be as far as that report's concerned. They had to release it. They waited as long as they could. But other than that, things are going pretty good. We've had some really good cases recently, and we'll talk about some of those things down the road as we can. Any questions?
Question? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Rescue?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. Rescue Squad had 1 medical call, 26 motor vehicle accidents, 60 other calls, 3 business meetings, 3 training events, 2 public relations, and 5 fundraising. Total of 99 standbys. Total of miles is 2,436. Total hours is 1,476. We do have a ham breakfast this Saturday. Would like to have, the support from everybody. So, any questions about the report?
Questions? Thank you.
All right.
Codes?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. The monthly report for April 2014 are as follows. Single-family dwellings, there were 9 permits issued. There were 3 commercial permits, 15 miscellaneous permits, 3 signs, 1 grading permit, and you'll see no valuation for that due to the fact it was a city project. Other, which include additions and remodels, there were 9, 4 mobile home, 2 commercial plan review. Total number of permits were 44 at a total of $3.3 million for the month of April. Plumbing permits, there were 10 single-family, 1 commercial. Mechanical permits, there were 10 single-family dwelling, 1 commercial. Complaints called in for the month were 38 for tall grass, which that number will be on the increase quickly. I've already seen it in May already, these short few days we've had. Junk cars in the yard, there were 7. Total of 46. There were 134 building permits. Inspections, fire inspections this month were 18. On the year, there are 67. Monthly revenue with impact fees, $37,429. Year-to-date's $80,038. Total number of single-family permits issued year-to-date are 23. And if you'll notice that number, we've reviewed that shortly. Total number of single-family permits issued this time last year were only 12. So perhaps residential is back on the rise. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Parks and Recreation?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. You see our numbers for the month up there. We've been really busy. We got a Senior Advisory Committee meeting on May 15th at 4 o'clock. The Parks Advisory Committee meeting we're looking at canceling because of the retail trip that Tom and yourself are going to be on. But we've had our senior prom this past Friday, and it was a big time. And thank you, Mayor, for coming to that, and Kathy, and some Box 100, Laura. We also started summer camp signups this past weekend. So if you got some kids you'd like to get involved in that, bring them on. First BPA tournament was this past weekend. We did really well on that, and couldn't have been better weather for that. That was huge for us. We had a yard sale scheduled for tomorrow for the seniors, but we're going to cancel that for Saturday because it looks like it's going to pour, so we don't want to get everybody wet for that. And then we have another BPA tournament coming up next weekend. So that's about it for us.
And we have royalty sitting at the table.
We sure do. I'd like to announce her. One of the queen of the prom is Miss Sherry Green here.
Yeah. We had fun, thank
Yeah.
you.
It was fun.
Finance?
Good afternoon, Mayor and Aldermen. Tonight's report is for our first 9 months of the fiscal year, ending in March. For the general fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $798,000. We've collected approximately $3.3 million in sales tax, local sales tax. That's $422,000 better than what we budgeted and $221,000 better than the prior year. In our state street aid, expenses have exceeded revenues by approximately $411,000. In our stormwater, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $294,000. And in our water sewer fund, revenues have exceeded expenses by approximately $1.8 million. The next page represents our balances in our various bank accounts. And the following page represents a comparison to prior year. For the general fund, revenues are up $163,000 as compared to this time last year. Expenses are up approximately $2 million. And in the water sewer fund, the revenue is up approximately $183,000 and expenses are down approximately $303,000. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you, Phyllis. Library.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, good evening. In the month of April, we had an average of 349 people in the library per day. We issued 158 library cards, and we had a total of 2,739. If you notice, I skipped over a few of the numbers because, unfortunately, those numbers are down from last year. The staff's looking at some way to get our numbers back up, to get the people into the library, to get them checking out. One thing that we are looking at and we appreciate for the upcoming budget year, we'll be offering e-books at the library, and we're very excited about that. One way to really get people excited about coming into the library, the staff and I are working diligently on our summer reading kickoff. And Chief, if I can put this, if I could move your coffee and set this right up here for just a moment. I'm going to set it right here. And we're going to turn it just so the elected officials could see it for a moment, and then we'll turn it back around. Yes. Thank you, Vanna. I appreciate it. That was Vanna White. Okay, so we've got to get our patrons really, really excited about summer reading. And our theme this year is Fizz, Boom, Read. So we have got to get all of our kids and everyone who comes into the library excited and taking part. And what better way, all right, if you would move over our poster now, than to bring in a mad scientist. And so we are really going to push, and I'm so sorry I cannot read with these glasses push the science theme this year. So Fizz Boom Read is early literacy for 0 to 24 months and children aged 2 to 11 years old. On May 31st, that's our kickoff. And everyone help me out. Everyone kick. We're going to kick off. Come on, everyone. Let me see a kick. We're going to kick off our summer reading. May 31st from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. We're going to have balloon creations by Mr. Frank. The mad scientist will be there. We will have popcorn and drinks. We will offer sign-ups for our children. They'll receive age-appropriate summer reading materials. We're going to make exploding art and receive a free prize. Spark a Reaction is our teen program, ages 12 to 17. They're going to sign up, get a starter kit, and a chance to take part in a very cool YA art project. This art project will involve paint, balloons, and darts, right? So you want to come and be a part of that. Literary elements, adults ages 18 and up. The first 50 patrons who sign up will receive an official Literary Elements bag containing a take-home trivia word games packet, bookmark, book light, we all could use those book lights, and several book review slips. At the end of the kickoff, at 2 p.m., 3 names of the adults will be drawn for a prize of our adult summer reading program. Now, our summer reading program will be, I'm sorry, I'm getting dizzy with these glasses on, June and July, and we really want to get everyone in. There's something there for everyone. Help make the Laverne Public Library the very best place it can be. You've got a lot of excited, enthusiastic staff members there, and we want it to be there for the community. So please come and help us make this a great summer. Any questions?
Questions? Thank you, Ms. Donna.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Good job.
And thank you.
Okay. Water treatment. Okay, Ivy, you got to top that. What can I say?
I let my hair down just for this occasion, but I left the costume at home. I'm sorry. We have a lot of scientists where I work, but they're not very mad. This is the water treatment plant report for March of 2014. We had another excellent month for water quality. We did not do any flushing in March. We were kind of waiting for, because March was kind of a dicey month for weather. It was real cold for March, and we just kind of, decided to wait. We started the main bulk of the flushing actually this month, but we have stopped it temporarily this week, just due to trying to get some water in the system, because with it so hot, everybody's been filling their pools and washing their cars and running through their sprinklers and stuff, myself included. So, yeah, we've laid off the flushing just for this week. We expect to pick it back up again next week. Cross connection, I mean, it's the same deal with spring. We're going out doing a whole lot of pool inspections, irrigation inspections. It's kind of what we're focusing on this month, and continuing with the fire systems backflows. I did add another section in here for distribution. We're going to start reporting every month on the bacteriological laboratory distribution stuff that we do. With the New Line project, we thought it would be a good thing to give you guys some metrics on. So in March, we analyzed 2 New Line samples, and that's for that 2-inch water main project on Minerva. So in April, we did about, I think, 10. So we're moving right along on getting those done for the distribution team. So maintenance was running a little bit high this month. We're working on replacing a lot of the lighting in the water plant. I think when we get everything, finished up with these projects, and you guys come out to see the water plant, y'all are going to be really, really pleased, because the lighting has made a huge difference in the way things looked. The construction that you guys approved, and now this is just making a huge difference. Plant is running great and looking great too, so we're really pleased. That's really all I've got. If you guys got any questions for me.
Any questions? Thank you, Ivy. All right. I believe we're going to have Public Works and Utilities given by Michael tonight.
Mayor, Alderman, good afternoon. Reporting for Garland tonight. Street and Fleet, his grandson is graduating kindergarten, going on 30, so congratulations to him.
Big night.
Street Department, brush removal, request calls were 73. They made 509 pickups, 46 brush removal loads, 131,500 brush removal tons. Workhouse program man hours was 100. Asphalt and tonnage installed for the month of April was 0. Man hours on mowing was 280.5. They generated 134 work orders. Overtime's there, 36 hours overtime split between on-call and service calls, probably just, after they get off work there. Special project was hazmat training. Sent 2 guys over to the fire department to do some training with hazmat, so they're both certified in CS, help me out, Ricky. CS 16, I can't remember the number. It was good benefit for those guys. Fleet department, vehicle repair was 70, in-house 53, outsourced 10. Oil changes made were 18, in-house 6, 12 at Valvoline. Looks like they replaced 14 tires, did 4 brake jobs, and 7 repairs were made on equipment. Sorry. Any questions?
Any questions?
And for the water department, month of April, we generated a total of 77 work orders, had 4 new meter sets, answered 180 Tennessee 1 calls, had 2 main line breaks, 11 service line breaks, estimated 9,460 gallons of water not sold, with 40 hours overtime in the water department. Special project is still Project AMR, of course. The number's down this month from last month. We need to take a step back and get caught up on some things that we need to get caught up on. But hopefully next month we're going to have another big number there. Got big plans for that. Sewer department, total sewer work orders were 81, 49 service call work orders, pump station work orders were 30, sewer department overtime was 52 and a half. We had 0 final grinder pump inspections for the month of April. We rebuilt 3 grinder pumps in-house, and also that special project there, we sent 2 of our guys to get the hazmat training.
Y'all been busy.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?
Thank
you, Michael. Human resources?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Aldermen. We had 6 external jobs posted in the month of April, 59 applicants, 3 actual new hires, 1 internal job posted, and number of applicants 2, and a total of 35 NeoGov job interest cards. 1 employee resignation, 1 liability claim, 90 care here appointments, 3 no-shows, 317 lives covered as far as enrollment, independent lives covered 355, 190 employee lives covered, 600 dependent claims, and 611 employee claims. Total claim dollars, $205,768. Are there any questions?
Questions? Thank you, Cheryl.
Thank you.
All right. We've got some special presentations. Tonight with us, we have a very, very special young lady who is going to be representing this area in the Young Women's, let me get this right, Distinguished Young Woman of Tennessee Scholarship Program. She's our very own Miss Lacey Slinker. Give her a big hand. Beautiful young lady. Beautiful. And it's an honor to have you here tonight. You'll represent us well. Beautiful young lady, and we'd like to just give you a little token of our appreciation and wish you well.
Okay, thank you.
The City of Laverne Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Lacey Slinker for representing Laverne and Rutherford County in the Distinguished Young Woman of Tennessee Scholarship Program. We proudly acknowledge this wonderful achievement because of the tremendous impact you will have as a role model to other youth in our community. And we thank you very much for sharing this with us. And please keep us informed because we would certainly like to bring you back. Let's see, the pad is July?
July 6th.
6th.
Yes.
So we'd love to bring you back here, hopefully with some other big announcements. How about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. You're a beautiful young lady. Thank you. That's exciting to have youth in our area. And please, I think, Lacey, I believe there's some, if you'd like to help sponsor in a program, if you can see her, there are some sponsors here, so let's help move this young lady on up the ladder here. Thank you. All right, next is our Employee of the Month. We dearly love to pick on this employee. He's so much fun. You think he's just very quiet, easygoing, doesn't have a lot to say. But let me tell you, when you think he's not watching, he's watching. And he's taking very good care of us here in this city. He is very alert on his shifts. He is also very active with our youth in the DARE program. And I don't think he has a clue who I'm talking about right now. If Officer Scott Hudgens, would you please come forward? The City of Laverne Certificate of Appreciation is hereby granted to Officer Scott Hudgens for your dedication and hard work for the City of Laverne. The city hereby recognizes you as the Employee of the Month for May 2014 and thanks you for the excellent work you do for the City of Laverne, for our children, and for everything you do, Scott. I just want you to know how much we appreciate you, and I think these two guys may have something to say as well.
We can't say a lot about what this is all about, but we can tell you a little. Last Friday morning, Scott was on patrol here in the city, and he did it the way it was supposed to be done. He was paying attention. He saw something that didn't look just right, and he stayed and he watched. And he saw some things occurring and documented in his head and on the radio, etc., things that were transpiring at that time. One thing led to another, and there was a stop made with the appropriate reasons. And as a result, what it led to was one of our federal agencies becoming involved. It's a multi-state case, and it involved thefts, fraud, identity theft, etc. There are several federal agencies, in fact, that are involved in this across state lines, and it was an absolutely awesome case that began because he was patrolling and doing his job and paying attention while he was out there. And hopefully, before too long, we can tell you a lot more about it, but it's gonna kind of knock your socks off. There's a lot of great work that's gone on. Scott made that stop. One thing led to another. And then we had our CID folks that got involved. Detective Stalinsky worked on that end and provided a lot of things that were developed and so on for the feds as well. But because of this man, that's some folks that came here to do harm to a business here in our city, and they were stopped and prevented from succeeding because of his work. And for that, we're proud of him, and we say thank you.
Thank you, Scott. Very much. We're proud of you.
The funny part of it is that he thought he was having to come to work tonight because Reserve Lieutenant John Boone is out of town this week, and we didn't have any help to be here, just with a presence as we always do. And then he had some more folks want to show up and listen. So you're off duty now, Scott. We ain't paying you.
Oh, that's great. Okay, fun's over. Down to business, everybody. Old business is the second reading, ordinance 2014-05, and it's the ordinance that I've read 500 times to amend the Laverne Municipal Code.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 5, second reading, ordinance 2014-06, an ordinance to amend the 2013-2014 fiscal year general fund budget. I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Second reading, ordinance 2014-07, an ordinance to amend the 2013-2014 fiscal year state street aid budget.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Second. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We now have the consent agenda items. We discussed these in great length. Do I have a motion to approve or to deny the consent agenda items?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. New business. First reading, ordinance 2014-08, an ordinance of the City of Laverne, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2014 through June 30th, 2015.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. I have a second. We'll do a roll call. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron.
No.
Vice Mayor. Alderman Green. And I vote aye. Motion carries. First reading, ordinance 2014-09, an ordinance to amend Title VII of the Laverne Municipal Code by adding a new chapter regarding the creation of the Laverne Fire Department Volunteer Division.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 10, Resolution 2014-14, a resolution to adopt a portable construction water meter policy.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Resolution 2014-15, a resolution to write off uncollectible property tax accounts.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 12, Resolution 2014-16, a resolution of the City of Laverne Board of Mayor and Aldermen to declare certain property owned by the city to be surplus to the city's needs and directing disposal of the same.
Motion to approve.
Excuse me. Motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 13, Resolution 2014-17, a resolution requesting the Federal Aviation Administration and the State of Tennessee to take action regarding regulations for unmanned aerial vehicles.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? I'll second. Got the second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 14, motion to approve agreement with the Baseball Players Association to conduct tournaments at Veterans Memorial Park.
Second. Make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
I'm in my own little world.
Second.
And I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion to approve agreement with Laverne Rescue Unit, Inc. to provide extrication services for the city of Laverne.
I'm gonna make a motion to deny it.
I have a motion to deny. Do I have a second?
I'm going to second it
so we can have a discussion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. I will open it up for discussion.
My question, and I asked Ricky, Chief McCormick, last Thursday, we put out a contract, and I think we basically said 18 months we were going to take it over. And then very quickly, it's now, I just want to understand the dates better. So why all of a sudden now are we going to, at the termination of this current contract, going to take it over? Or is that something that's ideal in your mind, or are we just, I mean, are we ready to go with this is my question.
We have had a meeting with the rescue squad, a couple of meetings actually. It was contract renewal time is the reason that this is even being brought up at this time. We were really behind last year. If you notice, it come up past due last year. So we were trying to get a jump on it for this upcoming contract term. The question is, are we ready to do this today? As my answer was Thursday night of last week, we could be in 48 hours. There's no need for us to be if this contract goes forward. So it's ultimately up to this board whether or not we move forward and in 48 hours we start doing this, or at the end of this contract, which is up at the end of June of this year. We'd give a deadline, or actually give a final date of us taking over at City Fire, taking over extrication services for the city on our city fire side of December 31st. Correct me if I'm wrong, Bruce, that would take over actually January 1st of 2015. 16. I'm sorry, we moved it out to the whole term. The contract that you have in front of me, it is the whole contract, correct, Bruce? Out to the very end of it. It's ultimately up to this board of where we're at. We're kind of in the middle here at fire. It's a service that we take the lead in by TCA code. We're in incident command of a motor vehicle accident. This is the way that we've always done it. This is the way it's always been, but we've moved forward. We've moved from a privatized fire service into a municipal fire department. It's a service that we can provide. It's a service that we're going to provide. It's just, do we want to do this now, or do we want to do it in 6 months, or do we want to do it at the end of what we originally had said in that meeting to the rescue squad, which was 2016?
Sure. And I guess that's my question. I mean, we extended a contract, and then 3 weeks later, I think it's inevitable that, and I think the city can do it at probably savings of what, $48,000 a year. And the reason I'm saying not the whole 52 is because I believe there'll be some certifications and some training.
Correct.
That'll have to continue each year. So I think it's inevitable. My only thing is how we jump that 18 months. And again, if we go ahead and we vote this in tonight, are we truly ready across the board, or are we just, I mean, I know you said 48 hours, but will we be ready July?
Well, there's a lot of things that were discussed during our workshop that to actually hear. Correct. This came from council. It didn't come from fire.
No, this came from me because I didn't want to spend the 60 grand over 18 months for what these guys are going to need anyway, because we're not going to get any of the equipment or anything, so it doesn't make a lot of sense when they can do it to not just go ahead and give them the money and start it now.
And I think that's what I'm saying. I think it saves the money. I agree with that part
That
of
was the
it.
reason I brought it up.
But are we ready? Are we, are we ready to July 1?
July 1, yes.
Okay, and across the board, trained?
Yes.
You say we can have the equipment?
July
and
1,
everything?
we would be ready, yes, sir.
Okay. And correct me if I'm wrong too, money-wise. I mean, after we have the equipment that we need, each year we'll save the city,
Yes, sir.
right
It's
around.
just be rolled right into everything. Everything with the next thing coming up are truck apparatus bids are coming up. The other equipment that's needed on those pieces of apparatus are included in those bid specs.
Okay.
So yes, the training has been mandatory in the fire department since I started, and that was 27 years ago. So the training's always been there.
And the 40, I think it was talked about at the workshop, $47,000 for the equipment, ballparkish.
Yes, sir.
That's something that may roll into next year.
Yes, sir.
And we believe it's a sole source. But
That would be correct.
where are we going to get those? I mean, just voting now on the budget, so where is that coming from? Is that something
It would not actually take effect until next year's budget. If that's the route we're taking, it wouldn't fall into budget until next year.
Right, and we're voting on that tonight.
Correct.
Correct.
The contract that you're voting on, it doesn't end until June.
But I mean the equipment, if we went ahead and said, yes, we're going to put it over to you, that 47,000, where is that going to, where are we pulling that from? That's going to come out of the 2014, 2015 budget, correct?
Correct.
Right, which we're
Correct.
voting on, so,
Right.
which I don't believe we've added in at this point in time.
Well, it's in the rescue
We have,
contract
we have,
agreement.
okay.
It's
okay.
just a wash.
Okay, follow you, all right.
Yes, sir.
Any more questions?
Has all this been discussed with the rescue squad?
No,
No.
it has not. The discussion that was with the rescue squad
That-
was for 2016 termination date. This portion has not been discussed until last Thursday night and tonight.
Should we not discuss this with them? Or,
But this,
What?
I was the one, I mean, nobody knew I was even gonna say anything. It was, my thought is to spend the money, when we're gonna turn around and give it to them, they can do it, so why spend 60 grand and we're not gonna get anything back?
I can understand
That-
that,
so that
that
was the
they
reason.
need to be trained for
That
this.
was-
I understand
That
that.
was the reason I brought it up. This wasn't, I wasn't in on the contract or anything, I was reading it here the other night, and that was the reason I did it.
Well, I just wanted, I mean, to make sure, you know, that we went out and did this on a good,
I'm just going to say, I agree 100% with what Chris has said about the money.
oh, I do too.
100%, we've got to work toward that. But we met in good faith with them on this contract. We discussed it with the chiefs, all the chiefs. We were all in there with Dana and them in that meeting. And it was not discussed. It was discussed about us getting our trucks, giving them time. If they wanted to come over, do other training as far as, we've already told them it would be 16. We would be taking our extrication over. And that would give them time to, I think my mic's going in and out.
It is.
Give them time if they wanted to do extra training as far as firefighting, coming on the volunteer. We discussed water rescues. We discussed different things that to keep them involved even after we took over the extrication.
That was also the reason for the 2016. If somebody's wondering where that came from and what that time frame was, we wanted to give them time. This volunteer program's just getting voted in tonight. It'll be next week before we post those things out. They deserve an opportunity to be able to get this training so that they can come over. There's good quality people in that rescue squad that deserve an opportunity to be able to do that. That's my personal opinion. I understand the money, and I do agree with the
I
vice
agree
mayor
with
as
the
well.
money.
$48,000 is $48,000.
I'll agree that.
I
Now,
will not
if
argue
we
that
can
at all.
save it, I just
I
want to
wasn't
make
in
sure.
on the meeting, I didn't make any promises, I just, that's just the way I feel.
Any more comments, questions of any of them? I mean,
Would I might say, would the rescue squad want to go up and say anything?
Thank you for letting us come up to talk. You know, there were some things that were said last Thursday, 7 days ago, that were not true. And I want to make sure that we all understand that we are trying to assist and help and everything else. The comment was made about the rescue squad not allowing the fire department to use our equipment. Here's an email that was sent back to them stating that we would be glad to let them use our equipment with a memorandum of understanding stating that, you know, the city would be responsible for the equipment if anybody got hurt, that the rescue squad couldn't be liable for that. Never got any words back. Bruce emailed me back and said the city decided to go to the county and get one of their trucks. I understand that. That's okay. Training. Went back and looked at the training dates that we sent out. Chief McCormick, when's the training? Is it during the week or during the weekends or?
Chris, would you like to speak to something? If we're gonna open it up, we'll open it up.
I mean, I just want, you know, the public to know that we are willing to train, but we also have jobs that we have to, you know, provide for our families.
I can answer that question. I know
Okay.
exactly who you're talking to.
Okay.
Dates and times that have been sent to the rescue squad. We've sent you the county volunteer schedule, which is volunteers. They're nights and weekends and days. They're all mixed in because it's for folks like you.
Okay. We've
It's
missed.
not necessarily,
We've
it's
missed
not
this.
necessarily municipal fire training.
Okay.
It's open as well.
We've missed this email somehow, so we need to.
I just want to point out, if y'all can see the animosity right here, this is what I'm talking about, not working together. I can sense the tension between you and the fire department, just in the way you're talking to each other. It's just not working. I mean, there is animosity there. I don't know why. Tried to eliminate it. But just you talking to Ricky and Ricky talking to you, it's there. It's never going to go away. And that's part
Well,
of my
the
reason.
last meeting we had, I think everything was pretty good, didn't you?
I thought we were in agreement.
I did too.
And if I'm not mistaken, at the last meeting, I did say that we all worked during the daytime and couldn't do it. And if I'm not mistaken, Rick McCormick said there were gonna be some night classes and weekend classes for training so that we could be adapted to that, because we all have full-time jobs too. So
I know
that was discussed in our last meeting.
But what I want to say is I'm going to leave this up to this board to make the decision, the right decision for the city, financially. And, you know, if the rescue squad is not needed for extrication or as a insurance policy in case they're on calls and don't have the manpower, you know, then we'll turn this boat around to a different direction and we'll head a different direction. The rescue squad's not going anywhere. We'll still be in business and we'll still provide a service. What that may be, I don't know right now, but we'll figure this out. And I want to thank the public for always supporting the rescue squad. Anything?
I do want to say something. There was a couple things that were mentioned, as he said, that weren't of true facts, and one of them was, was there anybody present for the TARS Association of meetings when there was asked for the fire department to be an associate member that was here from the city?
Nope.
Okay. Well, I did hear in the workshop that there was bad talk about the city. I live in this city. Why should I talk bad about it? I didn't talk bad about it.
We're going by what the president said on the phone.
He said that people talk that somebody there was talking bad about us?
Yes.
And then we have affidavits from people that heard him say that.
Okay. Well, I'm the one that stood up and said something. And
Yeah,
I
he
would,
told us.
and I represent this city, and I also represent Laverne Rescue Squad. And the only thing that I said is the fire department wants to take over in 2016, then they can put their application in 2016 to be an associate member. That's what I said. I said they have an extrication crew there that volunteers. That's all that said. I did not vote for it. Somebody else did all the voting. So I'm just going to let you know that. And I've watched the videotape on YouTube 2 or 3 times. I want to make sure I got it right. And it sounds, and I'm going to say it to you, Chris, because you're the one that called it out. And
Okay.
you can see the conflict. But is it is it that you can't work with us?
No, I can work with anybody,
Okay.
but there's conflict. There's always been conflict in this city over that. Period.
Okay.
And I'm out there every third day. I see it. One way or the other, I see it.
Another thing that you had mentioned in there is that there was an NBA last year that you, there was one person on the rescue truck that showed up.
There's
Do I?
99% of the time, there is one person on the rescue truck.
That's right. 100% of the time, most of the time, there's one person on the truck. But in our contract, we have to have 2 people show up. You
feel like-
neglected to say that there was 4 other people showing up to that
I
wreck.
feel like there should be at least 2 people on an apparatus.
Okay,
There's-
if I'm not mistaken, don't hold me to this, but the Monday that it snowed 2 months ago, you worked over on paramedic 9 because apparently your crew, the next crew couldn't show up. And you were taking calls for paramedic 7 because there was only one person on that truck. They were first responding.
What-
Then you were having to show up.
But what's that got to do with extrication? I was on the ambulance.
That's
with
right. Well-
another- With a partner.
Yeah, well, there
that
was
was
medical
a-
calls that one person was going,
That
they
was a
can't
one-time
transport.
event, And I have nothing to do with that. That's the county. If you want to take that up with Mike Nunley, that's who you can take that up with. This isn't involving the county. This is involving the city of Laverne.
I understand that. I'm
Rutherford
kind of
County
putting an
Medic
example
9 is
out
ran
because
by
there
Mike
was other
Nunley
people
And
coming.
Mr. Burgess. So we're not discussing the ambulance service. We're discussing the rescue squad, the fire department.
Okay. But I just wanted to get those out in the open, that there was somebody else coming for that other ambulance unit that was there.
I had somebody on the ambulance with me, so
Okay. But it is to y'all's vote. We all did sit down and, you know, decided to do this. If y'all want to take it over, that's fine. We're still going to be a rescue squad for the city of Laverne. All right? Thank y'all.
I'd just like to say,
Parker, do you want to say something?
anytime that the ambulance service needs to be brought up, they should contact Mike Nunley, not me. I don't run the ambulance service. I just wanted to acknowledge that we did have a meeting with the rescue squad. It was recommended that we speak and make sure that we talk and communicate as much as possible. And I believe that with that meeting and what you see the contract for as far as a contractual agreement is in place. That's a hard decision. We're looking toward the future. I've been in this several times. It's something that you have to determine the direction that we're going in for the safety and the efficiency of this town and the citizens. It's a difficult situation. It's a difficult decision on your part. Whatever may be, we do have plans, Plan A, Plan B, Plan C. So just to reassure you, in whatever decision that you do make tonight, it will be handled, and it'll be handled on a professional manner on both sides. Thank you.
I'd like to say something. I know the rescue squad has been in Laverne. I've been here since '70, and they were in here before I ever came. And I know that they're always willing, and they've helped a lot of people. But I appreciate Dana when he stood there and said, because he lives in this city too, if we can save money, he's fine with that. And that was very manly and very kindly. So I just wanted to say that.
And I want to say this too. I'll just say right now how I'm going to vote. And I've spoken to Dana about this, and it's no disrespect to him, his organization, his membership. And I'll be the first one to say that I don't know the emergency services size like some of the people that sit up here. I certainly appreciate the 40-some years that you've given to the city. I know everybody pretty much appreciates that. My vote tonight will be 100% because I do believe the city can do it cheaper. But at the same time, I hope the city reaches out in some way to your 35 volunteers, because I know the love that you have for the city in some capacity, whether it be the volunteer fire or anything else, because Dana, as you've told me, you'll do something else, and I'm pretty certain you'll be successful at it. So my vote tonight will be 100% financial, because I do believe after this year, basically the city will save about $50,000 a year. So.
And I'd like to say there's been some members come to the fire department in the last few days that have been welcomed with open arms on helping them find the classes and what they need if they want to be volunteers. So they're already, you know, they've got members that are already coming, looking, wanting to be on.
Any more questions? Any more comments? We have a motion on the floor to deny this contract, and I have a second. We're going to do a roll call. It is a motion to deny the contract. Start Alderman Roker.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron. No. Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Green.
Simply for financial reasons. Aye.
You vote aye. And while I agree with you three, I'm very big on my word. And we met with them, and I'm going to keep my word, though it's not going to make any difference because the motion's going to carry, but I'm going to vote no because we sat down with them and had a heart-to-heart, not once, but twice. And I'm big about my word. But I do have to agree on the financial end, but my vote will be no. But the motion to deny has passed. So the contract will end June 30th of 2014. Okay. Number 16, motion to approve bid for fire department apparatus, 3 75-foot Quint trucks and 1 100-foot tower truck.
I'll make a motion to approve
We have a
for
motion.
the Sutphen because the other truck didn't have anything on it.
Okay. So did you get that one?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. And we are talking about the,
The Sutphen, the
Yes.
Rosenbauer,
yes, I
from
want
what
to
I
make that,
read, didn't come with any of the miscellaneous
I want to
equipment.
make that very clear.
And I think
Okay.
it would be a nightmare trying to bid out
Okay.
everything else when the contract
Oh,
specifically
you go
said
way over.
it needed to be on it in the bid.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Let's do a roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Motion carries. Next, motion to approve bid for 2 fast attack fire trucks.
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the Southeast for the same reason.
Okay,
They're the only one that bid everything.
exactly. Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I'll second that one. We will do a roll call. Alderman Green.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Aye.
Alderman Waldron. Alderman Broker.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Number 18, motion to approve master subscription agreement with iCity Corporation for a city app for mobile devices.
Motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve.
Second.
If I may,
Time out.
if I may interject here, this was originally on the consent agenda, and there were some issues with the contract, specifically sections 6 and section 8, that Evan over here is not happy with that language. If we could, if the board wants to approve this contract, if we could approve it subject to his approval, that way they can work out the details and get this in the proper format for the city.
Evan's verbiage.
I'll remove my motion to approve and add it, motion to approve contingent upon attorney's verbiage approval.
I second what they
In a
said.
second. Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right, we're down to mayor and alderman comments. Ms. Green, we'll start with you.
I don't know anything. I don't have anything.
See, you should have worn your tiara tonight.
Oh, yes, I should have.
Well, congratulations on that. We had a good time that night. It was
That
fun.
was a really fun night. And if any of you don't go to the senior center and you're old enough, you should go. We had a senior prom and it was just a barrel of fun.
It was beautiful.
Us old people can still move a little bit.
I couldn't keep up with you. Vice Mayor.
4 more weeks and we get another little devil born.
She's a sweetie. Alderman Brody?
No, ma'am.
We do need volunteers for the playground build. That will be June the 5th and 6th. We've got 10 of the 15 we need for the Wednesday, which is June the 4th. We have 10 of the 25 that's needed for the Thursday and Friday, which is the 5th and 6th. And we have 15 of the 25 for that Saturday. So please, you can go to the city Facebook page and sign up. We're getting ready to get that playground built. We got a lot of excitement going. So if you or any companies that you know that can come out and help us on those days, please come out, and I think it'll be a lot of fun and get that playground built for those children. Carry the Load will be in town May the 16th, and that is going to be from 4 to 6. And is that going to be back here as well? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Sometime between 4 and 6, they will arrive at our city limits, and we'll do like we have the last 2 years. We'll come down, and we'll come over here to the pavilion area and have a ceremony there to welcome them here, because they're bringing attention to the real reason for Memorial Day, and that's to remember those who have made the ultimate sacrifice for our great country.
And it's really a very precious.
It is, and we would love to have everybody out with their
Flags
flags and anything patriotic, because that's why it's here. And these folks do it in an effort to raise money for a lot of organizations dealing with our military personnel, their families, those who have been injured, those who have lost loved ones, defending our freedom.
And remind me to tell you, I think we've got a place at the fire hall.
Okay, gotcha.
Remind me to, I think they're working out and gonna fix them breakfast. Just
So they
remind-
said that, okay, we've already got one
Have you?
group that
Okay.
wanted to buy them breakfast, so we can talk about that.
Yeah, I just had to say it before I forgot.
Got you.
We also want to extend the sympathy to Thomas and Deborah Champagne over the loss of Thomas's mother. So please remember the Champagne family in your prayers. And to all the mothers out there, happy Mother's Day. Hope everybody treats you with kindness, and men, take them out to eat. We like diamonds, we like roses. You know, chocolate's always good. So, but we hope everybody has a safe weekend. I'm going to call this meeting adjourned.